Hey, this is Matt. Once again, what about 2 other videos? Another paid request, this time for Gia. Thank you so much for that. And for those interested in requesting any type of videos, feel free to send it either directly to my PayPal or join my Patreon. Both links are down below in the info box. And you wanted me to do another versus one, Spider-Man 3 versus Venom 2. Both films I think are awful. Both films I think are terrible sequels. Both films that I would never care to watch again. What could I say is worse? One benefit with Venom 2 is that it is a short film. And if you don't make a bad film, at least make it a short film so you're not suffering for that long of a running time. Both have a lot of this potential. I mean, Spider-Man 3, you have Spider-Man dealing with the Venom symbiote and what you could establish in terms of character arc or character dramatic storytelling of someone who's enjoying even more power, or maybe gets into some inner feelings that he's been dealing with, or some inner rage, perhaps because of the death of his Uncle Ben or other attributes. Because usually in Spider-Man comics, he's the guy who is had a vendetta put upon him by J. Jonah Jameson and by citizens of New York, even though he's a hero, even though he's helped people, but and maybe that type of, with the influence affecting him, things could come out. You'd have like a little bit of Superman 3, like the great bits where you have the evil Superman and you have the inner fight between him and his evil self to let the good part overcome. Fuck, Superman 3 I think did that better than Spider-Man 3. And Superman 3 is a silly movie, but it's I find a lot more fun than Spider-Man 3. Spider-Man 3 did too much and Venom 2 didn't do enough. Spider-Man 3 tried to have way too many stories packed in, way too much junk packed in. It tried to have the culmination of Peter and Mary Jane and marriage and relationships. Let's try to finish off the whole James Franco Osborn arc. It's trying to set up and finalize the Sandman character, set up and finalize Eddie Brock as well as the Venom character as a symbiote. Then have all the bits with Spider-Man getting the symbiote, understanding it, affected by it, maybe the joys of it, the fun of it, and then the darker side of it, and what could that be with the psychosis, whether that could be again with story and drama. That's all this stuff trying to pack into one movie, and nothing gets established it really well enough. Instead, the symbiote arrives out of the blue and just coincidentally lands right next to Peter Parker, and Mary Jane, the way she's written, is a terrible, unlikable character who's needy and tell me you love me, tell you, just a needy, unlikable waffle of a twat waffle. Coincidences upon coincidences just to loosely link this plot together, but it's like a Jenga. You're trying to put it in, take it out, and just go crumble very easily and quickly. A Jenga that's 7 feet tall, with a sneeze, will crackle, snap, and pop all the pieces down into the fucking ground for you to step on and land on your ass, and then one gets stuck up your ass. Venom 2 doesn't do enough in terms of, you have Carnage, but you neuter him, make him PG-13. You have Venom, but you never get to see him as the vigilante Venom. One bit where he grabs a guy and then throws him because Eddie tells him not to eat him and convinces him. That's the only bit that lasts less than 1 minute. You never get Venom, again, being a hero much, or being an anti-hero, or being a vigilante, or being the lethal protector, or none of that. It's just arguing like a lame sitcom. And I don't know what's appealing about that, but that's what they went for. And how the hell do you have a Carnage movie, but it's due to PG-13, and Carnage never gets to show Carnage? The only thing I would say Venom 2 I will put above Spider-Man 3 is number 1, it's shorter, and number 2, Venom at least looks like Venom, and acts a little bit more like Venom, where if you did more of it as a character, and the look, the design of Venom is not actually too bad, while the way Topher Grace is written and the way Venom looks, where there's none of the we, never get a sense of there's two in one body. Venom barely is a thing, and when he looks, he's just a terrible looking design, scrawny. Most of the time, is taken off just to reveal Topher Grace, and that was because Sam Raimi didn't want Venom. Studio did, and you could tell that Sam Raimi has zero shits to give about that character, motivation, background, anything of the sort, and you could clearly tell. Now, granted, the Sandman, I like Thomas Hayden Church's performance. Not sure about the way his character's written, where now all of a sudden he's linked to the death of Uncle Ben, and I'm like, okay, we don't retroactively change that now. Okay, we don't do that to give Peter Parker a reason for the rage, and then the show further about the changing of his behavior, as well as smacking Mary Jane, pushing her. But that comes off as being ridiculous. Tobey Maguire, I think he works well in certain movies. Pleasantville, Brothers, I could deal with him. I've never been a fan of his Spider-Man. Not even really a fan of his Peter Parker. I think when I first saw the film back in the day, I'm like, okay, I could deal with this Peter Parker and the fact of Sam Raimi's trying to go for that early issues of Spider-Man. But it just, as the older I get, he just comes off as corny, just comes off as campy, comes off as Ron Howard's Opie Taylor from the old Andrew Griffith show. Hey, Aunt B, my pa's ready? Raindrops keep falling on my head, freeze frames. I mean, I know that's Spider-Man 2. I had to watch Spider-Man 2. It is the best of the three easily. I don't hate Spider-Man 2. Spider-Man 3 is just interminable in terms of his running time, in terms of just all these attributes it's forcing in there, and none of them get fully well told. Mary Jane doesn't come off as likable. James Franco, all of a sudden, his butler that never talked at all throughout the whole rest of Spider-Man 3, let alone any other attributes, all these years, all of a sudden comes out and goes, by the way, I saw the whole thing, and by the way, you're wrong, by the way, Spider-Man didn't kill your dad, and by the way, wow, a lot of this information could have been told a day after, 2 days after the event. Why did he not say anything? I don't fucking know. The movie doesn't fucking know. They don't know one goddamn bit as to why. While Venom 2, you get stupid shit like Venom doing a mic drop. And Venom doesn't want to hurt innocent people, but he's jumping from body to body of innocent people and zapping them of all their energy. I'm like, aren't these people dying? Is he going after, is he possessing just guilty people? Didn't seem like it. Because the first person he possessed is just a homeless guy or a guy saying, what the hell's all that noise about? He didn't seem like a guilty guy. So is Venom killing innocent people, even though he's a lethal protector? So the movie never establishes or explains that fully. It just expects you to not think about it. If I could do something better for Spider-Man 3, I would say that Thomas Hayden Church is written a little bit more interesting compared to Woody Harrelson. Just, I think, maybe that's the wrong way to put it, but just being the Sandman, the way the effects are done, where the one moment where he tries to pick up the locket, but it goes through his fingers, that has a little bit more oomph to the character than anything in Venom 2. So I'll give Spider-Man 3 that. And I would say Sam Raimi definitely has more of a handle on action sequences compared to, was it Andy Serkis who did Venom 2? So again, I would say that action sequences wise, you can make the argument that they are better done and more energetic in Spider-Man 3 compared to Venom 2. So again, if you're just looking purely for action's sake, directorial shots and camera work, yeah, Spider-Man 3 is better than Venom 2 in terms of that. But it's just, they both infuriate me. But I read more Spider-Man than Venom comics. And maybe that's where it comes down to. I read a lot more Spider-Man comics, and the fact that they took the symbiote story, which is one of the more interesting stories in the comics, and even in the cartoons, when they adopted it in the 90s cartoon. Even later when I saw it adapted the Spectacular Spider-Man cartoon. There's on-story arc through the first season. Very well done. I mean, wow, they told the story better in a cartoon than they could in a movie. Because again, Sam Raimi wanted to do 5 things. James Franco stuff, Sandman stuff, Venom stuff, the marriage, Mary Jane stuff, all of, then having Gwen Stacy in there. They didn't even mention that. Just way too much overbearing, overindulgence, and messy. Messy, convoluted, coincidental, just like a lot of coincidences that just happen. And the running time does not help. Like I said, if you don't have a bad movie, have it be a short bad movie. Again, Venom 2 at least is like 80 some minutes long, and it's still bad, but you could watch that about twice. You really could watch that, well, maybe not twice, 1.5 times by the time Spider-Man 3 is done. Probably watch it one time and get at least halfway through before Spider-Man 3 was done. And it doesn't have, I don't like the mic drop of Venom, but the emo dancing is to me the worst thing in a Spider-Man movie. It was stupid, it was idiotic, it wasn't funny. It made zero fucking sense why anyone who's a Spider-Man fan would ever enjoy that scene. That's a type of scene that would belong in Joel Schumacher's Batman and Robin. The Spider-Man emo dancing scene. To me, that's up there with the fucking Batman credit card. As being just fucking embarrassing. That scene alone made Spider-Man 3 worse than Venom 2. To be or not to be McCryer, saying yes to a script where it's like, yeah, your character, you're going to be dancing like this Saturday Night Pot Fever and smoking pot while doing it and being a fucking goofball with a bunch of eyeshadow. Failing your audition for The Cure or whatever the fuck other band. And just, god damn it, man. What was the band you would be? Panic at the Disco? What the fuck band would he be a part of? Can't remember those bands back in the day. Fuck that movie. So, yes, I think Spider-Man 3 is way worse than Venom 2. Although Venom 2 sucks as well. And I just reviewed Venom 2, so for those who want to know my deeper thoughts of Venom 2, feel free to look on the channel. I just reviewed that about a week or two ago. So with that said, thanks once again, Gia. Take care, everyone, and we'll see you later. Bye-bye.